Raptors fans, franchise, Raptors HQ. Who's joining me today? But first on camera appearance, I think, on Raptors HQ TV, Mr. Vicious D. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Adam. How are you?
Good, good. And we're coming to you live from the Tiff Bell Lightbox. We actually are here for the Blogs with Balls conference this weekend in Toronto, so exciting stuff. But the topic of conversation today, something that's just wrapping up, is Toronto Raptors training camp in Halifax. Any sort of initial thoughts, things that you've heard, et cetera, et cetera?
We're hearing a lot of running. That's what the main thing is right now. Coach Casey's mentioned turnovers. That's also going to be a concern. We saw a little bit of that last year already at the beginning of the season. They were turning it over a lot at the very beginning. I really don't know how this run and gun sort of thing is going to go. I mean, every time they have a new coach, it seems like they have to initiate this on some level. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully it'll be a really good start to something. If not, they'll slow it down probably, and things will even itself out, and they'll probably reduce all the turnovers.
Yeah. Obviously, training camp, sloppy, early season. So that stuff tends to work itself out. But I think you touched on something very important: is that the team last year, for all of its defensive efficiencies and improvements, was 29th in terms of offense. So really kind of flipped the script, and it was really a story that I don't think was discussed enough, because everyone gave Jay Triano a hard time, and maybe rightfully so, on defense, but his offense was actually quite decent, and Casey sort of turned things around on D. Offense, suffered, and I know he's trying to adjust to that, but that may mean more turnovers, sloppier play.
A big problem with last year's team was that they really didn't have any three-point shooters outside of Andrea Bargnani, and we all know how great that's turned out as he's been shooting threes from there, and it's not always. We know he's not consistent. So hopefully this group, we've got some shooters like Terrence Ross and Landry Fields, so they'll be able to do something with the ball out at the arc, because without that three-point shot, they just can't open up the space for this team to work in a half court. So it's either transition or half court. They gotta get one of those things down this year. So on the offense, if they want to raise up from the 29th level. So
yeah, no, and I think that's another huge point. The three-point shooting, stretching the floor, getting out and running, and how well suited is this team? You could argue that the team in place is actually better suited to play that kind of style, and hopefully, therefore, we see a similar defensive effort but improvement on offense, and that's really a big question coming out of this training camp. Other questions I think are positional. Battles. Starting lineup, maybe you can take some guesses at, and we'll talk about that in a second. But right now, we've got 18 players on the roster. We know we can only keep 15. So which three get cut, in your opinion?
The last two signed. What were the last two players that they signed? Jerome. I think those ones. So McClure is probably the last man out. He'll probably be there just to throw a few elbows in the beginning, but we're not going to see it.
Airball some free throws.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting to us to watch the point guard battle, but I don't think they can cut loose any of those. They can't cut loose John Lucas. It's just too risky for them to do that.
Plus, we just filmed a video with them. They better not do that.
That's true, but that's really the battle that I'm most anticipating seeing right now. I know everybody's talking about the small forward position as well, but what are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I'd say it's the same three get cut, kind of in that order. Huge Jarrell McNeil fan, and I think there might be a place for him and Chris Wright, frankly, in the league. Probably not with the Raptors, but who knows? Maybe they catch on later or at some other point. And I think your roster's pretty much set with Dominic McGuire being the 15th man. He adds another Casey type, we'll call him, and you use those asterisks. So I think that's sort of the roster. And then at the wing spot, I think you'll see Landry Fields there, and I think that'll be an interesting position, because to me, a lot of it depends on how DeMar DeRozan plays. Because if he struggles this year, or just doesn't seem to take that next step, there are guys now that are going to be able to take his spot. Maybe not Terrence Ross as a rookie right away, but when you look at the ability to play a Landry Fields at the 2, they've got some options there.
Yeah, definitely, and it's going to be competitive. I guess that's what they want, because they've got the depth. So making it competitive is the way to go. I think once again, like I was saying on Media Day, this team's going to surprise some people just because of their tenacity and the way that they approach things. And a good thing is I don't think this team is going to burn out either. They seem to have a good group of characters, and it's showing throughout the preseason. I just hope Kyle Lowry doesn't get on anybody's nerves. They're already talking about him really stepping up to the plate and really calling out people, but I think that's going to be an emerging storyline as the season progresses.
Yeah. There's always sort of a thin line between being a leader and being a pain in the neck in the locker room. But I think he'll be a very positive influence. I don't sort of foresee any issues, but definitely something to keep an eye on. Obviously, lots more to discuss. We'll have lots more on the site as usual. If you're not following the HQ channel on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you jump on the Facebook page. We're going to get more involved in that this year as well, and more videos to come, obviously. And I like this hat, by the way.
Thanks. Trying to pimp it up this year.